Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to carve up something super easy. Alright, last time we carved up a bear sitting. If you missed that, we'll have a link here popping up probably at the end of the video as well. Very beginner, first time carver, trying to use your homeowner saw or your personal saw. Maybe you've got the Steel MS-170 stock and you want to carve up something very, very easy. We're going to work on a pumpkin. It's a very simple carve. Once you guys get it down, you can knock out a lot of these really, really quick, and it'll help build muscle in your arms and learn saw control and safety and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, be sure to stick around, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. Let's start making some sawdust. Alright guys, so the goal of this series is for new carvers or aspiring carvers to be able to carve with what they have. Bare minimal tools, not buying a ton of stuff, not even changing out the bar for a dime tip bar. This is a new MS-170. We're going to use the stock bar. So if you've got a cheaper saw at home, maybe a Poulon or a Craftsman, you guys can use that too. It doesn't have to be this saw. You just don't need a big gigantic saw is what I'm getting at. So a few things today. We're going to be working on carving up a pumpkin out of just some pine. As you guys can see, it's not very big, maybe 6 inches across, probably 9 inches tall. Okay, first thing first, get yourself some chaps, safety shoes, some gloves that don't have a rubber grip, all right, like leather gloves. You need ear protection, eye protection, and get yourself a dust mask. Get all that stuff together before you even start to carve, so you are being safe. Today I'm going to show you how to set this up if you do not have a jaw horse. Now a jaw horse is another investment down the road when you're ready and you have the money to spend. But if you don't have that, there's another option for securing pieces like this down to your workspace, and I'm going to show you how. So what I've done is I've got cinder blocks, a chunk of wood, and a bigger chunk of wood. Set this up so you're at a comfortable height, especially for small, short pieces. Next, get yourself some screws. They only need to be as long as they need to be. In this case, I've got a really thick board and I use these for building benches, and they're just what I have laying around. So if you have 4-inch, 5-inch screws, something like that, you know, use a 1-inch board, use a 2-inch board. This is like 2.5, so it's a little too much. What you want to do is cut it wider than the piece you're going to be carving, right? You're going to need a screw gun as well, or an impact gun. As you can see, we stick out 4 or 5 inches on either side. The bottom side of the carving, what's going to be the carving, facing up. Put this down, find center, put it in roughly the center, screw this thing together. Okay, so now that's one piece. Flip it back. Now we need to secure it to the log below it. I do recommend screws that have a deep thread, okay? Drywall screws aren't going to cut it. You know, if you can buy timber lock screws, buy them. Don't spend a ton of money on this setup though, because the goal is to make some stuff that you can sell and invest in a jaw horse later to hold these pieces. Screws eventually strip out, they break. Jaw horse is going to last a long time, and it's worth the investment. So I'll have links to tools, similar items, things I'm using down below in the description through Amazon. You guys purchase through those links, and they really do help support the channel, and I greatly do appreciate it. So we're going to set this aside, give you guys a close-up of the pumpkin. Now obviously you can finish your pumpkin however you guys want. Right now it's just plain. I'm going to hit it with the torch and brush it off, and maybe we'll leave it brown. If you guys really wanted to, you can always spray paint it orange or brown on the top, or green, or whatever you want to do. But the goal of this is to make easy carves, keep them cheap, so you guys can make a couple dollars on them. You start investing more time, more tools, more money, paint and all that, well, you know, you're investing more than just, you know, somebody who has a chainsaw and wants to create something. So here's the pumpkin. This is what we're going for, something very similar. Get your safety gear on, make sure your chainsaw is filled up and sharp. I'm going to be trying out this new dust mask, base camp masks. Dust Masks reached out and asked me to review their mask. This isn't the review, but we're trying this out here this week and next week. See what I think, and then we'll do a full review on these masks. See how they are. All right. Let me get my gear on. We're gonna have 2 camera views, and I'll do a full voiceover, step by step, cut by cut, and I'll walk you through the whole thing.
All right, guys, just a real quick thing. It's a good idea to debark the piece you're gonna carve. If you have a T-wrench with your saw, the ones that come with the steel chainsaws work really good for this. Kind of get in there and just sort of pop all the bark off. If it's cut in the summertime, that job is super easy. All right, so coming in for our first cut. Right now we're gonna be working on the stem. So you see the height of your bar? We're going in about that deep, maybe a little bit farther. And then we come up from the side, cut those pieces off. A little bit of an upcut action. Move around and do the same thing, so you kind of have a square top. It's a good idea to have enough space to walk around your piece, make sure things are picked up. You know, kick your chunks out of the way so you're not tripping over anything, and be safe and be aware of your surroundings. Now go ahead and remove the corners from the stem. Now you can make this as narrow as you want. I'm just going through and kind of just carving it up real quick to give you the idea and the basic cuts. As you can see, I squared it back up again, but you can remove all your edges and kind of round it and have it sloping down, whatever you want to do. So I want to come in a little bit of an angle and just kind of meet everything. Make sure it looks fairly, even all the way around. I'm going to start making the lines. So with the side of the chain, not straight plunge cuts, we're going to make lines across the top a little bit from the stem out and down. We're using the side of the bar, not a straight cut. You got a good shot here on the left side of the bar. Have a good grip. This is where you guys can definitely get kickback. You can always get kickback, so be prepared. If you have to take breaks, take breaks. This is a quick carve though. So now we go back to our first line, use the side of the bar and cut to the existing line on each one. So it gives us like a wedge kind of look in there. That'll be the lines for the pumpkin. Now this is very basic. Obviously, if you guys use power tools and things to clean it up, you can. They can look even better, but this is just for somebody who is kind of trying out and wants to, mess around with the saw and make some real simple stuff, or the very beginner who's just can't get a dime tip bar or power tools for the most part. Well, yeah, go in, do a little bit of an angle, cut down. Not super sharp, keep it kind of, not a very, very steep angle. Line them up however you want. Chop those away. So that's your basic shape. I like to go in and kind of clean up around the stem there, so it sort of looks a little separated from the top of the pumpkin. Kind of cut to it just a little bit. So you see there's a lot of walking around in this. Again, be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you're being safe. Now use the side of the nose of the bar and make some lines. These are kind of the same lines we use for furring for bears. We're just making them come down. You can make them twist, whatever you want to do. It's a fairly simple thing without having to use power tools. Obviously, if you can use a die grinder and a Saburrtooth flame burr, you could really clean this up. And if you are interested in those, you guys can go to saburrtooth.com, pump in code HALL10, all capital letters, HALL 10, and get a discount on your next order of Saburrtooth tools. And it's good stuff. That's what I use. So I do not get a kickback off that code. I'm just letting everybody know. But I still support it because I think they make an awesome tool. So be sure to go there and check that out. Now we're just using the teeth to kind of round it over. We're just kissing the wood and shaping those hard edges. This takes a little bit of practice. You don't want the saw to bite here. You want it to kind of glide over the top, kind of like you're sanding. So you need full control of the saw while you're doing this bit of shaping work.
Alright guys, so I'm having one of them days where I did not just video the end process because life's awesome. Anyway, this is what I did. I took the torch, just this one, alright? I went around and burnt the pumpkins. If you carve them and let them sit a couple days and dry out, once you've carved and then do the torch really good, they will burn much easier, especially if you have green wet wood like this. We just went for it, okay? So this is just a quick burn. As you can see, it didn't burn very, very good. Now the goal for this one would be to just leave it wood color. Sometimes people like that. So once it dries out, I'll go over it again with the torch. Now after burning, we gotta get our brush out, brush it all down, and then it's ready for a clear coat. I like to use the Helmsman Minwax Indoor-Outdoor Polyurethane. So that pumpkin will be done, okay? This pumpkin, we did the same thing. Burned it all as good as we could, brushed it down, get all the loose stuff off. After that, we just take some spray paint, angle it down so you don't get it on your stem. You can even use a piece of cardboard as a blocker. Go around, spray paint your piece. Now, I said you can use Helmsman Minwax Clear Coat, which you totally can. Or when you buy spray paint, if you decide to spray paint them, just buy the clear coat in a can. When everything dries, clear coat your piece, it's done. Pumpkins I do not spend a lot of time on. This pumpkin will probably get 20 bucks on it. That'll be it. Send it, go. I do 25 on them when I make a ton, and I go through with my die grinder and I clean it up and give it a little more detail. I don't charge crazy money. You guys can see they're little, quick, easy, usually from cut-offs or branches, just make you a couple bucks. So real easy carve for the beginner, something you should all be able to do as long as you got safety gear and a little bit of, you know-how, and you guys will be able to create some fun little pumpkins. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, hope it helps you out. Be sure to hit subscribe, give it a thumbs up, check out some links down below, and I'll see you guys next time.